Welcome to Beards
and the bullshit.
He's bullshit. So this week we're gonna. Well, I guess today we're gonna talk about
the ultimate topic is
coaching.
Coaching.
Specifically, kind of related to powerlifting because that's what we do.
Absolutely.
This week, some bullshit came out. I'm sure a lot of you who follow powerlifting may or may not have seen. I got a lot of messages about this thing.
Yeah. Was it mostly West Coast people? I would think this would be
a
West Coast.
It was definitely.
If you're on the East Coast, I don't even know.
You may not know because the dude is not that big, but it's in regard to Ruthless.
Women's prison. Oh, I mean.
Women's prison.
Prison lifting.
Yes.
No.
Jorge Ruthless.
Yeah.
Whatever powerlifting thing, and let me preface this by saying this has nothing to do with the athletes or the people that choose to use him as a coach, because what we tend to see is the people who use him as a coach don't necessarily have a whole lot of experience in lifting, let alone competitive powerlifting, and so it's kind of like a poaching or
that's what I was
kind of taking advantage.
It was almost like it was. I feel like these athletes were poached, not like the athletes went.
Absolutely. Or they saw a bunch of their friends go and they went with, which is the thing, it happens.
And we have a couple stories for that.
We do, absolutely.
or experiences.
I mean, so somebody called him out on Instagram because he made a post somewhat derogatory about somebody's job or something like that, how much money they made, which at the end of the day, who gives a shit?
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day,
as long as you do something legitimate.
You got a job.
It doesn't matter.
You got a job.
So, Farrah, it doesn't matter that you work at 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
So... No, for real, it doesn't. It's totally it doesn't matter. I cleaned toilets for years in high school
and I worked
college.
at McDonald's and worked at car washes and
it doesn't matter.
Cut
grass,
bushes, whatever. Shovel snow. Hey,
so
we've all done it.
This dude called somebody out. The girl called him back out, and it was this huge post, like 200 comments, something like that. Basically, calling out his bullshit that he was taking advantage of athletes. Who knows, borderline harassment type stuff, mental, physical. I don't really know.
I mean, I think that's the main part of it, though. I mean, honestly, like you can be a bad coach with programming. You can be a bad coach, but man, crossing certain lines, I mean, obviously, I program 4 people at my gym as a coach, right? And like you said, there's just certain lines you can't cross.
Yeah,
I mean, if you want to be professional, you want to be looked at as a good coach. Like you said, my programming may be bad for some people, or may not work for everybody, but that's just part of it. That just happens.
And that transcends just being a man in general, because if you guys obviously in the news see all these scandals coming out about dudes sexually harassing women, which is absolutely,
best comment.
I didn't know this was a thing.
Yes, best comment on the whole thing.
Oh,
the Harvey
Weinstein
powerlifting.
Oh my God.
Poor guy. Man.
And you know what? All of it is accusations right now at this point. We don't know what the hell's going on. But it seemed like there was a lot of negative feedback. And even it looks like the USPA is going to investigate or get involved.
I'm sure
I got a ton of messages personally. I have posted a couple memes and a poll. Should we talk about this or not? Overwhelmingly,
which
yes.
You guys said yes. So
Abe was the only one who said no, which I don't care. He's a man bun, so it doesn't matter. No, just kidding. But
minus 2 points.
So your vote went to the other side. But multiple people had the same experience that are all from some people I didn't even know, right?
Yeah.
We're like, I've heard this about this dude, or he's come up to my athletes at meets and said, my squat sucks, basically, to come work with a real coach. He only has 1-star athlete. And from what I understand, she only has squatted 275 or something like that for the last couple years. I'm not really sure. It just doesn't seem like people are having a lot of progress.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's been
progress.
A lot of talk about, the programming that goes into what they're doing, how his popularity got to where it was.
Yep.
Again, I have a few athletes that know him.
Well, you go back.
Well. Yeah.
You were like the first one banned. Or blocked, or whatever.
I guess, and the problem with that is I don't even really honestly know why. I mean, I never had any issues with him up until, like I said, he, and he didn't even really poach, I would say, athletes. One of the girls decided to see what he was about.
Yeah. And,
she expressed that I was her coach still. She just wanted to, I guess it was sold to her or told her that basically it was a women's movement, like, or support type group, right? Okay, so I don't know, at the end of this and you say women's support, whatever, okay. So then it turned into bad mouthing, I believe, because he didn't or she didn't want to use him as, you know.
Yeah, and that's the story across the board with everybody.
Right. Basically, is from what I've heard is if you leave or you don't like something, well then it's, you know, all over, you know, you, or it's kind of bad. And again, not so much the athletes that I've heard. I don't really know. I don't really know many of the athletes that he has, to be honest with you. And I mean, that right there is interesting in itself. Again, at being a coach, I want the widest variety of people I can have. You know, I have people who I work with who are literally brand new to powerlifting, and we're starting with technique. And then I have lifters who are international elite, and that's awesome. You know, like I have this men and women. I mean, from what I remember, the dude had to put up some kind of video to try and explain why either the majority of his lifters were women or why he just, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen him really train
a guy ever. And there was girls talking about on this post that they had to go as groups to this dude's house or wherever they train. I don't really know where it was.
Yeah.
But they had to go in groups because they didn't feel comfortable. It's like that, number one, is a huge red flag. I remember somebody else on Instagram that's a lot of the girls at our gym know and kind of associate with. I won't name drop, but I just remember she was doing her first drop. No, I don't want to talk about the lifters because they're not involved. Yeah. So she basically was doing his programming and wasn't even doing paused nor chest touching type of bench press for her last benches before the meet. And I'm just like, I don't get involved with people's training and stuff like that, really. I try not to because nowadays it's not really respected, I guess. It's just like I don't know, it's weird times. Anyways, but just like, hey, he's not having you pause your bench before, and sure enough, I don't think she had a great meet. Especially surrounded around bench. Like, what did you expect? So I'm just glad it's finally coming out. A lot of other people message me and are glad it's finally coming out. Yeah. So
I mean, I'm just gonna say I could see it coming. You know, like I never got involved. I didn't really give two shits about what he was doing or what it was. It just, from everything that I heard, and again, I heard about this stuff a while back. You know, like this is way before any of this ever hit. Yeah. You know? And then when one of my lifters sent me the link to the post, I didn't even come across it. She sent it to me, and I just read through it and laughed. I mean, again, I feel bad for the lifters. You know?
Well, you know what? In that case, then one of the things, instead of talking about, you know, how bad of a coach he is, why don't you talk about how do you recognize who a good coach is, right? Sure.
And nowadays that is a hard thing in my opinion.
Yeah, because everybody's
because of the social media, and because of what almost the entire fitness world has turned into with it, which everybody has a plan for this or how to do this or what makes you a coach. So to close him out, I'm just gonna say, definitely research. If you feel uncomfortable or if you feel like there's something that doesn't seem right, then just leave, man. You don't have to stay with a coach. Nobody's gonna. Who cares what you think may happen or whatever? There's gonna be plenty of people that support you. So
the fact that you even have to say
I've left coaches, and I felt bad. I mean, I have, but you move on. When you feel the time's right, and they were top of the line coaches. Yeah. So I'm just sometimes it just doesn't work. So anyways, and then maybe look at. Well, we'll get into that in a minute. But anyways, going back to how do you pick a coach?
Yeah. So we just watched the finishing deadlifts, the final deadlifts of the American Cup live on YouTube. And one thing we noticed is a lot of people will go 6 for 9 in a meet or 5 for 9. And there's a lot of debate of whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. And your kind of take on it. And if you talk to a lot of top coaches out there, like top coaches, I think they're aligned in the same boat. The best meet that you can have is 9 for 9.
Sure.
Right? I mean, because you're lifting your heaviest lifts and you're getting them.
Especially if all your third attempts are
PRs,
true,
right?
Well, PRs, but a little bit of or some challenge.
Absolutely.
Mean, if you go 9 for 9 and you're smoking your third attempts, I don't know that you definitely had the best meet you could have had.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have different situations for different lifters. So maybe real quick about that. If you're a beginning lifter, confidence is key. I want you to have a good time at your first meet, when you do that.
Confidence.
So,
huge.
I talk about it a lot at the gym. confidence leading up to the meet. We're trying not to fail lifts in the gym.
Yeah.
We're trying to become efficient at 1 rep as we get close to meet time. But based off that, then we lay out our openers and our seconds, and our thirds are usually we have an idea, but nothing's set in stone. You know, we always have backup plans on A and B. Lift 1 or attempt 1 and attempt 2 in case something goes wrong. And I explained it out to all the lifters so they understand too. And maybe they don't totally get it all right now, but that's fine. It's just that's the way it is. So a beginning lifter, that's what I'm looking for, is just them to have a great experience. If they go 9 for 9 and maybe 2 out of 3 of their third attempts weren't as challenging as they could have been, that's fine. Well, we got numbers on the board now, or in the books, and we can build another program off that will probably be a little bit more challenging for you. And now, second meet, now we can push a little bit more. So
confidence, number 1.
Ultimate key.
Then building off of that confidence comes progressive programming.
For sure.
Right? So all those things are measurable come meet day.
Yes.
Essentially.
Absolutely.
So those are 2 real important points. Confidence in your lifting yourself and your programming, which I think we could beat programming to death. But the other factor of being a good powerlifter, which I don't know if you guys understand this or not, but Rick is like a master at picking numbers. We literally will watch meets or videos, or he'll say, this guy is not going to hit his third attempts all day long. And we're at a meet and he's spot on every time. He's going to miss it. He's going to hit that. He's going to miss that. He's going to hit that or whatnot. And then when it comes to, specifically my experiences, there's stuff that, at nationals where our target was 771 on dead, and he's like, no, 788. And I don't know the numbers before I go lift. I don't want to know. That's why he does all my meet day stuff. I don't care what they are. I just want to go lift
all
the bar.
numbers? No, you know your openers. You always
the openers, but the second and third attempts, I know what the seconds are going to be. Third attempts, I don't give a shit.
Sure. Yeah.
So, but we've gone 9 for 9 pretty much. I mean, every single meet.
And again, some people may say, "Well, you're not challenging yourself enough." Believe me, if you watch Adam's nationals, all of his third attempts were a little bit of a grind or definitely a challenge. I would say the one that surprised me the most was bench. Which he always does that to me. He always does a shitty second attempt and then throws me off a little bit. But then he smokes the third. But no, it's I don't know. It's not something that it's just comes from watching. I think a lot. I literally watch so much that, and now you do too. That you watch enough videos to where your significant other probably thinks you have problems.
Why are you watching men lift all the time?
You watching porn? No, it's just powerlifting. No.
So, I mean, kind of to wrap things up, so good coach selection sounds like confidence.
Yeah, so if you're a beginning, let's just say if you're a beginning lifter, look for somebody that, I would say talks about, building confidence, building working technique, explaining to you throughout the process what your goal is and where you're kind of expecting to finish. Those are all good things for a beginning lifter. Just and then again, that's if you're looking for a coach. Sometimes you just need to, like we talked about before, just do it yourself for a little while. But let's stay on with the coaching. As you get into intermediate and advanced lifters, usually there's something you're looking for out of that coach. You know enough. So my experience is, my bench always, that's what I wanted. My bench seemed to lack, my squats seemed to lack, back when I hit a plateau a while back. And so I looked for a coach that was good at that. Yeah. And that's what, I ended up talking with them over the phone. We talk over text, whatever, you reach out to them and you have conversation and then, okay, it's a good fit or it's not, and then you move on. Maybe, different coaches for off season and meet prep. I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying there's lots of different things. Express your goal. That's the main thing. Express your goal and see what they have to say about it. Yeah. And again, if you're intermediate advanced, enough to what you're looking for. I don't think we need to get so much into that. No. That's a huge part. So that's definitely things to watch out for when selecting a coach. And then after you select that coach, you have to look at the big picture, right? Do they have a plan for you? Are they making you successful on meet day? Are you making progress over time? Sure. And and I think as you're going with that coach, so once you pick the coach, how do you know okay, I made the right decision stuff. I mean, simple things are, what's their programming look like? You know, is it, because going back to what just all came up, you know, the big thing about it was well, $50 a month and it was the same damn program for everybody. Well, yeah, if it's a generic program, you can go get that for free out on the internet somewhere.
Yeah,
so why do that? Why pay that money? I can tell you my last 2 coaches, and I'm very happy, like constant communication. Like I can literally text them as I'm lifting. Usually, they're busy, so it's not immediate response. But most of the time, it's within a good amount of time for me, to make a change if I need to or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
The program requires feedback, about every lift I do, and then I put up a lot of my videos on my IGs, and he follows. So he watches it. So, and you guys will get to experience that. We're gonna one of the next couple episodes come out. We're gonna talk specifically about my training. We're gonna get my coach, Matt Clausen, involved. He's in Chicago, but we'll get him in on a Skype or a FaceTime or something like that, and he'll be able to talk a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, communication is key, I think, for coaching, especially if you're not with the coach. I program for a lot of people that are in my gym, so it's easy. I go back and forth with them all the time. See a lot, have a lot of eyes on them, get video all the time. So that part's easy, and I like that. I don't reach out to a lot of athletes across the nation or whatever. There are people that I program for that aren't, here, but again, I like to work with people that are close. I get the best results from that.
Yeah. So I mean, we could probably talk about coaching all day.
Yeah, for sure. We can.
But absolutely. So there's some key points. If you guys have any other questions about how to find a coach, select a coach, keep a coach, those kind of things. Like I said, we have a pretty good combined years of training in different sports and things, so we know what to look for. Go ahead and reach out to us on Instagram. Shoot us a DM, comment.
Any of them. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I think we got.
Hit us up.
We're trying to build this. I know it's new, but you can find us somewhere.
So definitely, thanks for watching.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.